Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Wednesday, October 26th. First off, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. We are up at 20,878 bucks, up about 4%. As you guys know, last few days we've been hanging out around 19K. Like I said, now 20,000, almost 20,900. Awesome, good to see that. Let's dive into the news here. Actually, no, let's not dive into the news real quick. Let's go ahead. Let's see what's on the leaderboard real quick. One of my friends told me about Ash. Ash is up 25%. I've never heard of it, but maybe something you guys want to check out. As you guys know, I added this Rubik yesterday, up about 10% today. Ethereum looking really good. 15,000. I'm sorry, 15,000. Wouldn't that be nice? 1,582 bucks. MicroStrategy still looking good, up about 8%. And yeah, most stuff is up at least several percent or more. So now let's dive into the news. So first off, we got Bitcoin tops 20K, Ether surges to its highest point since the merge. Basically, Ethereum had just fallen apart since the merge, and I think it got a lot of people maybe a little disappointed here. But it says other major altcoins were also in the green as investors regain their appetite for riskier assets following encouraging third quarter earnings reports. It goes on to say that the largest crypto by market was changing hands at 20,134. As we know, yes, up about 4% or so. And then Solana, Cardano, recently up more than 11%. Yeah, Cardano. Let's go back to Cardano real quick. That was actually looking pretty good. It actually had appreciated quite a bit since the bottom. I was looking at the chart the other day here. I mean, it was trading at 33 cents, now up to about 40 and a half cents or so. Not too bad. Nice little 20%, 22% rip over the course of the last week. So can't be mad at that if you're in Cardano. Looking really nice. Also, we had that Bitcoin liquidates over $1 billion as BTC price hits 6-week highs. So as you guys can see, lots of positive Bitcoin news coming out. The tally of wrecked traders keeps mounting as Bitcoin revisits levels absent since September. So as you guys know, if you guys were going to be shorting Bitcoin, you just lost a bunch of money. You're getting liquidated here. If you had a tight or not so tight stop loss, it says data from Cointelegraph and TradingView showed that the pair tackling 20,700 at the time of writing up over 7% in 24 hours. What began as an assault on 20K continued on the day. Liquidations mounting further after already sealing the biggest shorts obliteration of 2022. Says according to data from analytics resource CoinGlass, Bitcoin alone accounted for $550 million in liquidations in the past 24 hours, and $704 million in cross crypto shorts were liquidated. As we talked about, lots of fear at the bottom, lots of hype at the top. Kind of validates those points here. We also found this article on Barron's. It says Bitcoin and other cryptos are surging. Here's why and what happens next. So you're going to try and make me pay for this, Barron's? I'm not going to pay you $8 a month when I can just go find this article somewhere else. Really already touched on a lot of this stuff, Bitcoin being up over 7%. So yeah, I mean, you're starting to see a lot of positive news come out for crypto. As you guys know, I made my hypothesis the other day regarding where I thought my Bitcoin prediction was going to be headed, and really just stated that I thought the bottom was going to be forming. And when I compare it to Pfizer and Moderna, especially Moderna stock, a lot of similarities there. And given the fact that we're going into winter time with the flu spreading like crazy, it wouldn't surprise me if that stock price gets pumped up, and then in tandem Bitcoin starts to follow suit. As we know, there is a pretty heavy correlation, and we saw what happened when C19 was running rampant from basically 2020 and onward. Huge run up in crypto, huge run up in equities. So My hypothesis is that the bottom is in or very close to being in, give or take a couple $1,000 if we do a nice little scoop for liquidity. So we also have top crypto trader says Bitcoin bottom is in, makes BTC prediction for next 4 months. This came out yesterday. So this was after my prediction video, and I haven't even read this article yet, but it says a popular crypto trader says Bitcoin has hit its bottom and the beginning of a bull run is now imminent. Yeah, so I said the other day that we had a very, very quick move to the downside due to Three Arrows Capital and Voyager and Celsius, all of these insolvencies in these big crypto firms taking place at once, really freaking out the market, pushing prices down. And it's hard for me to figure out what would be just as impactful to push prices even lower. Yes, there could be some crazy black swan that takes place, but for me, that would seem like a huge max fear event, and I don't think that there's going to be much to push it lower. And so this is kind of where I'm forming this hypothesis, given the fact that you had that massive event take place, and we've kind of just been forming a huge consolidation range since that point in time. And now we're starting to see little hints of news come out, pushing prices up. Ether is looking great since the merge. You know, you have a lot of these prices moving to the upside now. So can there still be a quick move to the downside? Absolutely. But as time goes on, I'm starting to think more and more that prices will be reversing and heading to the upside. It's just my take. He says every day Bitcoin is under 20K is a gift. And I tend to agree with him a little bit. I mean, 74, 75% retrace, a fall. For Bitcoin is great. I mean, if you were telling somebody at 68K, hey, tomorrow you'll be able to buy Bitcoin at 20K, would you buy it? Of course, people will be jumping trying to buy that. But now that so much time has elapsed and the fear of the market is still there and people think it's going to go lower, that's been the narrative. And I have a particular friend of mine who listens to this I don't know, podcast, video, whatever you want to call it. He said he was laughing his ass off the other day, but I call him my indicator because I tend to feel that he will follow the herd because he's not so into this space like we are, right? He's just kind of picking up what he's hearing on mainstream networks. And so when I hear him say something and he's very, he's got a lot of conviction about what he's saying, I know that that's probably not his own words, and that's really just what's being pumped out in the channels that he's hearing. And I'm going to do the exact opposite as a contrarian. And so he keeps thinking that prices are going to get pushed to 14 to 16K. I just don't see that in the cards unless, like I said, it's a quick wick to the downside, some crazy exchange glitch takes place and wipes out the orders. That would make sense to me. But if that did happen, it would be for such a short period of time, literally just to get and wipe out all the stop losses that are at those levels. So this is why I think the case for the bottom being in is becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. And he says, that being said, 3+ months of Christmas feels like more than enough. So meaning that, there's been, more than 3 months or so of it hanging out around 20K. So this gentleman tends to think that the 20K is close to the bottom here. And he says he still believes the bottom is in. Here's one more look at the 2021 all-time high cycle versus 2017 all-time high cycle up is imminent. So you guys can take a look at that for yourself here. Let's see, what ads am I getting hit with now? What, Nikes? I haven't looked at Nikes in forever. All right, Kraken analysts detail massive 356,841 Bitcoin price target. Wow, it sounds like they pulled that number out of their ass. And potential Ethereum moonshot as crypto markets pop. So anytime we get a little green on the board, people start getting happy, right? And they start thinking that prices are going to move crazily to the upside, which maybe it's been long enough, maybe it's right. I do know that we are starting to hit around the normal time that we have seen in past markets where Bitcoin goes into a top roughly about a year later. the bottom sets in, and then we start accumulating and then pushing north, several months later. So we're at that similar time frame now. So are we going to repeat identically? I have no idea, but it seems like it could start falling in line with some of these 4-year cycles and the halvings and whatnot. But it says that analysts at the US-based crypto exchange are detailing a massive price target for the top crypto. In a new letter to traders, Kraken's technicians use Bitcoin's historic price action to predict where BTC may be heading in the long run. So sure, anything is possible in the long run, although I don't know, I still find it hard to believe people are going to be shelling out the cost of a house to buy just one Bitcoin, but I guess it could happen. I still think that technology needs to improve quite a bit, because now it's only being sold as a store of value. That's a nice drum kit there. I definitely was looking up drum kits the other day. Not for me, for my son. He's like 8, 7, about to be 8, loves playing. And yeah, that DW kit is fresh. It's like $5K though. All right, but anyways, maybe if some of these cryptos pop off, we'll get one. Don't really care about the Jordans though. Never was a Jordan guy. Anyways, Kraken is also looking at where Ethereum may be heading in the long run if past is prologue. So I still have this price target in the back of my head for Ethereum, like around, I don't know, anywhere between 10 and 20K. If Ethereum decides to follow what Bitcoin did last cycle, that would put it at 20K, since that was the previous all-time high for Bitcoin. I guess that remains to be seen, but I do think at this point, in my opinion, Ethereum is way more valuable than Bitcoin, just because of the utility that it serves. I mean, you have so many projects built upon the asset, not to mention all the NFTs going on. It just seems like the value is very, very apparent. The utility is very apparent. Now, what else do we have here? It's going to be a little bit longer of a video. All right, so Kevin O'Leary was talking, and I'm not a huge fan of Kevin O'Leary, but he did state some interesting things that I wanted to comment on. So I'm going to go ahead here. We'll play the video. It's going to be a really short clip, but you guys can check it out and see what this gentleman has to say here. All right.
Private investors have been spending a lot of time in Washington on this. Essentially what Jamie said there, he was talking his book. This is my interpretation. He feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add zero value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stable coin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that, because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does.
All right, so he's talking about his investment in Circle. As you guys know, Circle and Coinbase formed the Center Consortium. The Center Consortium created USD Coin, right? So USD Coin is what he's referencing as a bridge currency. Will most likely be the digital dollar. Now, Goldman Sachs, if you guys have been following this channel for any length of time, you guys know Goldman Sachs was an early investor in Circle. So Goldman Sachs is technically behind USD Coin, one of the biggest banks on Wall Street. is behind USD coin, which will most likely be the US stable coin, which is what he's talking about for frictionless payments, a bridge currency. Only issue with that is, why is China going to use USD coin to move money? They're not gonna. They're gonna use a intermediary like XRP, for instance, that is not native to a particular country. It just is. Like, yeah, I guess Ripple technically is behind XRP. It's a US based company, but the asset XRP is worldwide, doesn't have the USD label on it. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, why would Bank of America use JP Morgan coin to transfer assets? They're not gonna. They'd either just make their own, or they'd use a bridge currency like XRP. They're not gonna use something with JP Morgan's name on it, nor is China gonna use something with, USD coin on it. So he's right. I think that you will see that for maybe domestic transfers, USD coin being used, going in and out as a bridge currency potentially. But at that point, I mean, we can just use Venmo. And it wouldn't surprise me if they're already utilizing blockchain technology to make some of these instant bank transfers. For instance, like I use Square for my other business to process transactions. I can get a deposit instantly and into my bank account for a small fee. And so how are they doing that? They're using some other payment system, and pretty much everything will be on the blockchain to be utilized internationally, and be able to utilize international transfers like that for very, very cheap. So like he said, bridge currencies will save millions of dollars, but they're not going to use a bridge currency like USD coin, I don't think, unless I'm missing something here. I think it's got to be something like an XRP that is a 4-second transfer time with very low fees. Because even if you're using USD coin, you're still paying the gas on the Ethereum network to make that transaction. So it would be cheaper to use something like XRP or even XLM for peer-to-peer. My 2 cents on that. Now, this is becoming a longer video, so we'll kind of blow through this last part here. But UK lawmakers vote to recognize crypto as regulated financial instruments. The lower house of the parliament voted in favor of adding crypto to the scope of activities to be regulated via the proposed Financial Services and Markets Bill, which already seeks to extend payments rules to stable coins. So again, why would they be regulating something that's going to go away? It's because it's not going to go away. Crypto is here to stay. Did not mean to rhyme that. Also, Ripple lawyer says XRP lawsuit will set precedents for entire crypto industry. Here's what she means. Yeah, I agree. So if Ripple is the first company that has the green light with their crypto from the SEC, just think of what that means, right? For obviously Ripple and XRP, but crypto as a whole. Says Ripple's VP of litigation thinks the outcome of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's lawsuit against the San Fran-based payments firm will have a huge impact on the crypto space at large. And she argues in a new interview with Modern Counsel that the SEC is reaching far beyond the authority that was granted to them by Congress and attempting to regulate the crypto space by enforcement. She says it's cutting-edge industry-defining case. It's going to be precedential, not just for Ripple, but for the entire crypto industry. It's being watched by the entire industry. Yeah, obviously, he says, or I should say, Alderati says the documents were well worth the fight to get in relating to the Hinman documents. So yeah, massive for Ripple and crypto as a whole. And I guess, so yeah, we're just waiting. I think that once the settlement takes place, that's when crypto will probably take off. Or the other option is that crypto starts taking off while all this is still going on. And then when the top comes in, maybe the SEC lawsuit gets finalized. It increases FOMO, and it allows that the institutions to sell their massive positions to retail traders, because now retail traders are thinking, well, hey, it's got to go up even further now because the SEC lawsuit is settled, when really it's the rug pull that they've been waiting for, similar to how the Coinbase IPO was the rug pull that they were waiting for to entice everybody into the market. Hey, Coinbase is going public at 64, 65,000, 69,000, whatever it was. And then that ends up being the exact top of the market. Couldn't time it any better than that. You really have to think this is all very, very well played out and planned well in advance. Hence, the Coinbase IPO being the exact top of the market. Now, also wanted to point out Bitcoin ATM operator Rocket Coin acquires Tau Bitcoin. Only reason I point this out is because we actually had a Rocket Coin machine in our office for, I don't know, about a year, a little over a year. They were actually paying us to keep it there, and nobody used it. You know why nobody used it? Because the ATMs rape you on fees. It'd be much better to just cash out on an exchange. Even with an instant deposit, you'd still be saving way more money. Like when Bitcoin was trading around 50K, like they were like, if they was trading around 50K and you were trying to sell it, you were essentially selling it on the machine for like 45K, and they were taking a huge rip, right? It was absolutely insane. Or if you were buying Bitcoin at 50K, you were actually buying it on the machine for like 55K. It was insane. The rip was huge. So I'm surprised that they're actually able to still be in business, given the fact that most people already have some sort of exchange connectivity where it would be way cheaper for them to cash out. So we'll see. I don't know if ATMs are going to be around or going to be a thing for a while longer, because unless they lower their fees, it's absolutely insane. I would always refer my clients to just cashing out via the exchange rather than using the ATM. Seemed kind of stupid to me. All right, so that being said, it's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like what you heard, please drop us a like, a comment, and subscribe. Sign up for the newsletter. Catch you all in the next video.